might flee to the one of these cities and live Bashir in the wilderness, in the level land of the Reubenites, in Ramoth, in Galilee of the Gadites, in Golan, in Bashan, and Menasheim. And this is the Torah which Moshe, or Masha, set before the children of Yisrael. These are the witnesses, and the laws, and the right rulings which Moshe spoke to the children of Yisrael after they came out of Mitzrayim, beyond the Jordan, in the valley opposite Beth Peor, in the land Sikkim, sovereign of the Amorites, who dwelt in Cushban, who Moshe and the children of Yisrael had smitten after they came out of Mitzrayim. And they took possessions of the land of his land in the land of Og, sovereign of Bashan, two sovereigns of Amorites, who were beyond the Jordan towards the rising of the sun, from Ar, which is on the bank of the Wadi of Aran, even the mountain Sion, which is Kolman, and all the desert plain beyond the Jordan as far as the sea of Arbeth, Arba, below the slopes of Pashka. And Moshe called all Yisrael and said to them, Hear, O Yisrael, the laws and right rulings which I speak in your hearing today, and you shall learn them and guard to do them. Yahuwah your Elohim made a covenant with us in Cobra, and Yahuwah did not make the covenant with our fathers, but with us, those who are here today. All of us are alive, and Yahuwah spoke with you face to face on the mountain from the midst of the fire. And I stood between Yahuwah and you at that time, to declare to you the word of Yahuwah. For you were afraid because of the fire, and you did not go up the mountain, saying, I am Yahuwah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of bondage. You have no other mighty ones against my face. You do not make for yourselves a carved image, any likeness that which is in the Shemarim above, or which is in the Arets beneath, or which is in the waters, the Mayams under the Arets. You do not bow down to them, nor serve them, for I, Yahuwah your Elohim, am a jealous all, visiting the crookedness of the fathers upon the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing kindness to thousands who love me and guard my commands. You do not bring the name of Yahuwah your Elohim to ruin, for Yahuwah does not leave the one unpunished who brings his name to ruin. Guard the day Sabbath and set it apart as Yahuwah your Elohim commanded you. 6 days you labor and shall do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of Yahuwah your Elohim. You do not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your ox, nor your donkey, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates, so that your male servant and your female servant rest as you do. And you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Mitzrayim, and that Yahuwah your Elohim brought you out from there by a strong hand and by an outstretched arm. Therefore Yahuwah your Elohim commanded you to observe the day Sabbath. Respect your father and your mother, as Yahuwah your Elohim has commanded you, so that your days are prolonged, and so that it is well with you on the soil which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you. You do not murder, you do not break wedlock, you do not steal, you do not bear false witness against your neighbor, you do not covet your neighbor's asha, nor do you desire your neighbor's house, his field, his male servant, his female servant, his ox, his donkey, whatever belongs to your neighbor. These words which Yahuwah spoke these words Yahuwah spoke to all your assembly. In the mountain from the midst of the fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness, with a loud voice, and he added no more. And he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone, and he gave them to me. And it came to be when you heard a voice from the midst of the darkness, while the mountain was burning with fire, that you came near to me, all the heads of your tribes and your elders, and said, See, Yahuwah your Elohim has shown us his esteem and his greatness, and we have heard his voice from the midst of the fire. Today we have seen that Elohim speaks with man, and he lives. And now why do we die? For this is a great fire. For this great fire is consuming us. If we hear the voice of Yahuwah our Elohim any more, then we shall die. For who is there of all flesh who has heard the voice of the living all speaking from the midst of the fire, as we have, and does live? You go near and hear all that Yahuwah our Elohim says, and speak to us all that Yahuwah our Elohim says to you, and we shall hear and do it. And Yahuwah heard the voice of your words when you spoke to me. And Yahuwah said, I heard the voice of the words of this people, which they have spoken to you. And they have done well in all that they have spoken. Oh, that they had such a heart in them to fear me and to guard my commands always, so that it might be well with them and with their children forever. Go and say to them, Return to your tents, but you stand here by me, and let me speak to you all the commands, all the laws, the right rulings, which you are to teach them, and they shall do them in the land which I am giving them to possess. And you shall guard to do as Yahuwah your Elohim has commanded you. Do not turn aside to the right or to the left. Walk in all the ways which Yahuwah your Elohim has commanded you, so that you live, and it be well with you, and you shall prolong your days in the land which you go, and you possess. Shema, hear, O Yeshua, Yahuwah our Elohim is one. You shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your being, with all your might. And these words which I am commanding you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, and you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorpost of your house and on your gates. And it shall be when Yahuwah your Elohim bring you into the land which he swore to your fathers, Abraham, Yishak, and Jacob, to give you great and good cities which you did not build, and houses filled with all kinds of good which you did not fill, and wells dug which you did not dig, and vineyards and olive trees which you did not plant. And you shall eat and be satisfied. Be on guard, lest you forget Yahuwah, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, from the house of bondage. Fear Yahuwah your Elohim, and serve him, and serve his name, and serve him and only him, and swear by his name. Shema. Deuteronomy chapter 4 through chapter 5. Shema.